What's going on, everybody? It's your boy TOBBQ here with, again, not another music review. Today, we're going to be covering some of my favorite songs of 2023, songs that I was playing a lot, songs that I just really enjoyed, songs that sounded great in my headphones and in my car. Really just the songs that kind of stuck with me the most and left the biggest impressions. There might be some overlap with my favorite albums of 2023 video, but overall, I feel like this list will give you like a good idea of how my music taste is all over the place. If my channel didn't make that evident already by like listening to a bunch of different genres. I did factor in Spotify Wrapped a little bit into this in terms of what my top 100 songs were, but I don't know if that's always the greatest reflection of what I like the most, because sometimes you discover a song that's very close to the end of the year and you like haven't listened to it enough to be in your top 100. So there's no harsh criteria here. It's just, again, vibe oriented. That's the theme of this channel. Shouldn't be a surprise. I want to jump into a few honorable mentions before we get into like my top 10. I also want to clarify that my top 10 just means my 10 favorite songs, not what I think are the 10 best songs of the year, just what I enjoyed the most. Starting off with honorable mentions, first is Houdini by Dua Lipa. This song came out a month ago, but I didn't discover it until maybe a few days ago. And it is so infectious. I'm livid with myself for not making a reaction video to it. I'm like really upset that I didn't know it was being released, because I think making that video would have been so much fun. It's such an easy song to dance to. Dua Lipa, you know, her music is incredible. Yes, she has people barking like dogs, but her music is just so easy to buy into. It's so much fun. She likes to use a lot of like older sounds in her songs, and it's groovy. When I listen to her music, I just start moving. So if that song had come out early in the year, I probably would have listened to it a lot more. But because I just discovered it, I don't want to like fall victim to recency bias. So I just wanted to put an honorable mention, but I can tell you right now, like I'm going to be listening to that song a lot. Second honorable mention is Better Place by NSYNC. I reacted to this on the channel. I had a lot of fun with it. You guys know this. I'm an NSYNC fan. It was just an amazing feeling to see that group come back together. It is for a movie, which makes it feel a little bit cheapened, but I'll take what I can get. I'm not going to complain. I never in a million years thought that they would come back together, just because it's been like 2 decades basically. But yeah, check out my video for that. I was losing my shit and the harmonies were just chef's kiss. Here's a different one. It's McElhenney by the Wrexham Celtic Chorus featuring Ryan Reynolds. I'm a huge soccer fan. It's just part of the Brazilian starter pack. I've been thoroughly enjoying Welcome to Wrexham, a docu-series that has covered Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds buying a soccer club in Wales and essentially like reviving it from this lull that the team had been in for seasons. So Ryan Reynolds, being Ryan Reynolds, has, you know, done a lot of like great online promotion and publicity for his team. On Rob McElhenney's birthday, Ryan Reynolds just created a fun song that essentially tells people how to say Rob McElhenney's last name. It's got more of like a Broadway vibe, but I love the creativity and I thought it was really fun. And I just think it's worth noting. Last honorable mention is You Up by Johan Lennox featuring Ant Clemens. Now, this actually comes from 2022, and I didn't want to jump outside of 2023 too much while making these review videos, but I have just listened to this song so much this year. I was just so taken aback by the song. Like, it just sounded awesome, man. Like, I just loved it so much. It's been on repeat, and I just think in this case, in this instance, it's worth going outside of my parameters to say, go take a listen to this. Also, real quick, I want to add another honorable mention. Don't hate me. I discovered this quick little bonus track called Cherimoya, which comes from Jordan Ward's album Forward. Initially, I was going to make a video about new artists that I discovered and new artists that I wanted to listen more to, and Jordan Ward is one of those people, but I didn't have time to get to that video, so maybe I'll be able to listen to his album in full one day. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of got like an indie vibe, but there's also like R&B. Definitely check out that song if you haven't heard it yet. All right, back to regular programming. Let's get into the top 10. I have these ordered, but realistically, depending on the day, they fluctuate. It's really hard to solidify a top 10. I don't really think I can think that black and white. I did my best, so we'll see how it goes. Number 10 is I Wish You Roses by Kali Uchis. This comes from her album Red Moon and Venus. I had only recently listened to that album all the way through. It might have been a single before the album dropped, but I ended up discovering it just before summer, and it's been a favorite of mine the entire year. Granted, now that I've listened to the album, there are other tracks that I kind of like more on there, but I just haven't had enough time to like fight the recency bias. So I Wish You Roses is definitely up there. Number 9. That's You by Lucky Day. Now, this should come as no surprise because I made a reaction video to that song and If you couldn't tell, I really enjoyed it. It came out in November, so it's still relatively recent, but I just love that song so much. Probably because Bruno wrote it. It's just so groovy, and I've had sprinkles of Lucky Day in my personal listening catalog over the last few years. And so to see him kind of come to the surface with this and collaborate with one of my favorite artists was just super exciting. The song is just so groovy. It's so funky. His vocals are absolutely insane. I am a little bit jaded because the original version that I listened to, like minutes after it dropped, was 5 minutes, and it was like kind of an extended version. But maybe within a day or two, they pared it back to like a shorter version. And I personally think it's not as good as whatever the original was. So if you want to go listen to the original, take a look at my videos. It's pretty recent. But I'm really excited to see what the eventual album is going to look like. 8, we have Wings by the Jonas Brothers. This was by far my favorite song on their recent album, The Album. It's only 2 minutes long, which is a blessing and a curse because it's so like high impact. It doesn't waste any time to just get in your face and get exciting. But then it ends quickly, and it's so sad because it's such an enjoyable and infectious track in my opinion. The music video along with that was kind of funny. The actress Haley Lou Richardson was like a huge Jonas Brothers fan, and she said it on like a talk show, and then the Jonas Brothers were like, hey, do you want to be in the video? And then you can just see the video how she's just having so much fun. Holistically, there's just so much excitement around it. But specifically the guitar in that song, whatever effect or filter they have on it, it's just insane. I just love it so much. Number 7, we have TOBBQ by Dennis and MC Kevin Ocris. It's within this like subgenre of Brazilian funk called pancadão, which means like big hit. It's just a genre of music where the beats are very prominent and in your face. And this song, again, is only like a minute and 30 long. It's a quick listen, but it makes me want to go crazy. The funny thing about this music is like you get so invested in the rhythm, and if you don't speak Portuguese, you don't realize that what they're saying is like so dirty. That doesn't deter me from listening to it. But yeah, I mean, this type of music gets a lot of people in Brazil upset. I don't know. I kind of equate it to like how people reacted to hip hop when it first became a thing. Everyone thought it was vulgar, and there are some greater undertones to that take, and I think it's a little similar. I don't know every Brazilian artist, but I try my best to listen. And Dennis definitely has been someone who constantly reappears into my personal listening. And so to witness a new single of his was really cool because I feel like I'm always catching up to his older music. All right, number 6, we have This Is What Space Feels Like by Jake. This song is an absolute head trip. Please listen to it with headphones or in your car or something that you can experience that's surround sound because it quickly becomes a full body experience. And I think that's exactly what he's going for when he writes songs like This Is What Blank Feels Like. His mission is to convey the feeling of something through his music, and he accomplishes it. I instantly fell in love with that song. I had a lot of fun reacting to it too. Go check it out for sure. But the kid is so talented, and I've said it before. There's so much potential, and I'm really excited to see where he goes from here. Number 5, we have Let Me Go by Daniel Caesar. I've been like a casual fan of Daniel Caesar for the last few years. I've listened to some of his earlier albums. I did not listen to Never Enough, his newer album that came from this year. I heard it was really good, so maybe I'll have to check that out soon. But a few of his singles from that album were popping up in my daily mixes and my AI DJ on Spotify. But I kept coming back to this one. The bridge into the chorus is just so beautiful. I can't sing it. I try to in the shower and in the car, but but I just feel something when I'm listening to that. It's so magnificent. It's just beautiful. I don't have any other words. Go listen to it if you haven't. It's definitely more low key, but it's out of this world. Number 4, we have We Might Even Be Falling in Love by Victoria Monet and Bryson Tiller. Now, We Might Even Be Falling in Love was an interlude on Victoria Monet's album Jaguar, and that came out maybe last year or even the year before. But this is one of those amazing Spotify singles that come out. She decided to do a duet with Bryson Tiller, who is also a great singer and an artist that I've enjoyed over the years. I think the original track is only like a minute long. This one might be like 2, which pissed me off because I'm like, damn, this is so short. I need this to be longer. But it was already the longer version of the original song. So being that it is short, I was able to just repeat it, and listen to it like a bunch of times. What Victoria has in the song already is amazing, but what Bryson adds is just as amazing. It doesn't take away from the track, it only adds. It's so groovy, it's just so pleasant. I feel like when I'm talking about like my favorite songs, I'm having a hard time describing why I love them. And I feel like the only rationale that I love them is that they just make me feel something, you know? They just hit some kind of button in my soul that makes me feel excited to just be in that moment listening to that music. Please check that out if you haven't heard it already. It is such a good song. Number 3, Double Fantasy by The Weeknd featuring Future. This was actually my number 1 listened to song of 2023. I said this in my albums review video. For maybe 48 hours, this is all that I listened to. I listened to it on my phone and I was like, this is fantastic. And then I listened to it in my car and I lost my shit. Insane. I was just driving down the road. Nothing else mattered. I felt like I was in a spaceship just going. I was actually at a wedding that weekend when the song came out. I was driving a few friends to give food after the wedding, and I met like a childhood friend of my friend who was getting married. I put the song on. I'm like, oh, this is the new Weeknd song. Like, we should listen to it. I blast it. And this kid's like, wow, this is really awesome. Who is this? I was like, this is The Weeknd. Do you not know him? And he's like, no, I don't. I don't really listen to music like that. I was like, bro, you don't listen to music? Like,
sorry, I didn't quite get that.
This is just the tip of the iceberg with like The Weeknd, but also just music in general. But yeah, to like just have that shared moment with someone that I didn't really know and he was excited about it as I was, if not maybe more, was just like so much fun. Even though it's my number 1 listened to song, the reason why it's not like my number 1 is because it's not something that I've been listening to the entire year. With more of the soundtrack being released from The Idol, I just found myself listening more holistically versus it just being only Double Fantasy every single day. In other words, I listened to this song as much as possible when it was like the only song from the soundtrack out. But when other things came out, I started listening to more. Moving on to number 2, we have Goodbye by Victoria Monet. I cannot accurately describe my love for this song. It's just everything. It's everything. Her voice is fantastic. The retro sound is amazing. The production is so good. I mean, it's that way across her entire album, Jaguar 2. Please go listen to it if you haven't already. It's so good. And yes, the video will be coming out soon, I promise. This song just felt like the beautiful credits that come after a movie. She had done her thing. She had said everything she needed to say. And then at the end, she's like, all right, goodbye. Like, this is it. You know, this is the end here. And in the back half of that song, there's like horns, strings just moving all around. It's such an insane sonic experience. And the irony is that the song that came before it, I thought was like a perfect ending to the album. And then I heard that song and I was like, nope, that is literally the perfect ending to this album. And I've said this before, it just takes me back to a life that I never even lived. Now, number 1, my favorite song of the year, Planet of the Bass by DJ Crazy Times and Miss Biljana Electronica. No, I'm just kidding. This is my last honorable mention. This was a cultural reset. To see a TikToker just make a song for fun and not only have a song sound incredibly accurate to like that 90s Euro pop that existed, but all the marketing that he did to get it out there and make it popular. The original video was hilarious. Then he replaces Miss Biljana Electronica twice, which gets everybody enraged. And then he brings the original back for the music video. I don't know anyone who's played it more right than Kyle Gordon, DJ Crazy Times. Everything from the lyrics to the instrumental to the grain of the music video. They have like a VHS version. The fact that he replaced Miss Biljana was like what Europop groups would do in the 90s. Like they'd get popular and then the lead singer would just fall off the face of the earth. It was just so well executed and is 100% worth an honorable mention. Even though I didn't listen to it a million times on Spotify, I could not stop watching that one TikTok. Oh my God, it was crazy. Now, my actual number 1 song of the year might come as a surprise, might not. It is a Weeknd song. It is from The Idol. And it is Popular, featuring Madonna and Playboi Carti. Like I've been saying about a lot of albums and a lot of songs this year, there was such a heavy like early 2000s hip hop R&B influence going on. Abel has transformed so much throughout his career. He's evolved, you know, every album really sounds so true to him. but so different at the same time. He started dropping his mixtapes in the early 2010s. So to kind of get a early 2000s version of him was just a really cool experience. The fact that he got Madonna and Playboi Carti on a track together, that sounds like some Calvin Harris type shit where like you just pull random people together and put them on a project. To pull in Madonna, who has just been a pop diva throughout her career, but like definitely popped off in the early 2000s too, it just felt very right. And then he just threw Playboi Carti in there because why the fuck not? And Carti did his baby voice. And you know we love the baby voice. He's trying to be crazy. It's just a collaboration that I never saw coming, and it was a pleasant surprise. I don't think it's a perfect song. I don't think that it's like the greatest song of 2023, but it's just my favorite song. Unlike Double Fantasy, I didn't just listen to it for a month. This song I've been listening to the entire year. The synths, the rhythms, it just gets me so excited. And then of course when I heard the song on the show, it just added to the whole vibe. Obviously I'm going to be a Vocal Weekend stan because I just love his music. He doesn't really miss in my eyes. And even if I think he misses, it's probably just because I was expecting something different from him and didn't go into that with an open mind. There you have it, guys. Those are my favorite songs of the year. Like I've always said, these are just the songs that bring me the most joy, the songs that moved me the most, and the songs that just came to the top of mind when it came to 2023. Drop down like your top 10, your top 5, whatever you've been into this year. If you had any that are similar to me, let me know. I'd love to hear. If you disagree with anything, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, just throw it down. I'd love to hear how this year has gone for you in terms of music. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching the video. This has been TOBBQ. Stay real and stay you.
She's trying to be crazy. She's trying to be crazy. She's trying to be crazy. She's trying to be crazy.